Welcome to our latest Hoopcast here at the SEC Tournament in Tampa, Florida. St. Pete Times Forum, and the Florida Gators live to see another day. Kevin, after the first half, I didn't know if they were going to make it through this game. That's maybe as bad as they've played this year in the first half.
First 20 minutes, but they kind of scrapped and they did some good things defensively throughout the game. They got the press going a little bit in the second half. And I thought the upperclassmen really stepped up tonight. Walter Hodge again with a big game scoring, and Dan Werner, where did that rebounding come? I was kind of joking with him, 15 points, 13 rebounds, double-double. We haven't seen that all year.
Is that his first one?
I think it's second or third career double-double, but it definitely ranks up there as his best rebounding performance of the season, particularly considering he's undersized against Michael Washington and Michael Sanchez inside.
Got to give him a lot of credit. Dan Werner did play well, missed a lot of shots early, but then got it going a little bit later, and Walter was good. But Nick Calais, this first half was just awful. Five turnovers. He was making bad passes. As Billy said, sometimes he just still doesn't get it. You don't have to make the perfect pass. You don't have to try and do too much. Sometimes all it requires is 11 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists for you to get it done.
And you got to wonder, I think he's forcing things a little bit because, obviously his shooting has tailed off a little bit, so he feels like he has to contribute in another way. And I think he was putting a little pressure on himself in that first half to try to make too many things happen. He did have some drop passes in those turnovers, but still playing a little erratic and out of control. Games
definitely.
in March also get more physical, and he's got to respond to that aspect of it too. I think that if the officials aren't going to call as much, you have to kind of man up and play physical and take care of the ball and control the ball.
Yeah, it was just a putrid first half for both teams. I think they combined to miss 41 shots, had 16 turnovers. And I have some friends who are here that write for national publications who really haven't seen this team play. And they came over at halftime and go, dude, you've had to watch this all year? And I'm like, well, it hasn't been this bad, but it certainly was bad tonight. Second half, like you said, a couple of players, Nick and Alex, both told me they got Arkansas tired, and they wore them down. Again, without Henry, they missing one of their subs, that kind of shortened their bench, and I think Florida's press definitely affected them, and they did just enough to win this game. I'm not sure they're not down, and I was just talking to Billy's dad about it. I'm not sure they're not down 15 at halftime if they're playing a decent team.
Yeah, exactly. And, another factor in the second half I thought was Irving Walker coming off the bench hitting some big shots. And 15 to 17 from the free throw line, too.
Yeah.
Very good from the free throw line, which obviously they haven't been and they've struggled with during the course of the season. Today they were almost perfect if Chandler Parsons doesn't go to the line and miss 2.
Well, and speaking of Chandler Parsons, if he takes another three-point shot, I'm going to leap over the table. He can't make them, okay? Stop. Vandy was a fluke. He's 7 for whatever. What was he tonight on 3 points? 0 for 3.
He did hit one early, but that was about.
He's
I think
8
it's 1
for
36
or whatever it is since that Vanderbilt game. He needs to stop shooting them. But anyway, I know that they're not going to make him stop shooting them. But certainly, we need to talk about the Florida game against Auburn. Kevin, I don't think it's a play-in game anymore. I think the things that happened Thursday in college basketball changed that, with the Maryland winning, with the upset of Baylor over Kansas, with some of the other things that have happened. I don't think it's a play-in game. I think that the loser knows they're done, but I'm not sure the winner's in. The winner's on the bubble and has a chance, but I don't think they're in right now.
Yeah, it definitely could, figure as more of an elimination game right now, like you said, as a play-in game. But, it's interesting talking to, Dan after the game. He was talking about them wanting to basically control their own destiny. And, he said, we came here to win the tournament and, get the automatic bid. And certainly from the way, they looked in the first half, I don't think that would happen. But, maybe they carry that momentum into the second half into the Auburn game.
Well, we'll see. Auburn's obviously very quick, great jump shooting team. I love Rasheem Barrett. Obviously, Kavotny Barber has been just a man this year, and it's going to be a tough task for Florida. This isn't the same Auburn team they played early in the year when the Gators did pull out the win in Auburn. Irving Walker come off the bench, having a big game in that one as well. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough. One thing about today too, there were more Florida fans than there were any other fans except obviously Kentucky. It's Cat Tampa, okay? There's still more Kentucky fans than anybody else out here, which tells you about Kentucky basketball. But it wasn't very loud. It wasn't a crowd that kind of, I don't think, bolstered that team. I don't know if that's going to be better tomorrow night or not.
I think it might be a little better just because of the fact that, the magnitude of the game kind of increases. Maybe you'll get a little bit more walk-up ticket sales. But, Florida didn't really give them much to cheer about in the beginning of the game by the way they played. And in the second half, when they got the press going a little bit, you saw the crowd got a little more energized.
A little bit more into it.
But they're certainly going to need the crowd tomorrow because Auburn is playing as hot as any team in the league. 8 of their last 9. They're really on a roll, and Barber presents a different rebounding challenge than say a Michael Washington because he's smaller, but he has such great instincts to the ball.
It's very strong too.
And Dan Werner is going to have to really again step up and be on his game and box out and hope to get some rebounds.
Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow night, and then we'll come to you and tell you what happened and talk about either the end of Florida's regular or SEC tournament or who they're going to play in the final. We'll see. Obviously, as we said earlier, Kevin, there's no result in this tournament that would surprise us. I will say this, though. The games were not very competitive today. And we talked about how competitive it would be. And when you looked at, you had Kentucky close for a while, but then pulling away from Ole Miss. You had, obviously, the Vanderbilt game. When I thought Vandy would give Alabama a good game, really didn't. They did cut it to 6 at one point, but Alabama in control in that game. And of course, Mississippi State over Georgia, which no great surprise.
Just killed them, yeah.
It's just the first day of the tournament, I have to say, was a little disappointing.
I thought Vandy Auburn, came close to being competitive a little bit, like you said at the end, but Vandy Alabama, excuse me, but Alabama is just was just too athletic. I thought really got
another bad matchup for Vandy.
AJ Ogilvy huffing and puffing down the court, and Alonzo G. Now there's a guy that really stepped up and played well. 25 points, an in-state kid, had a lot of fans, and a kid that Florida recruited but didn't get.
Amazingly, AJ Ogilvy in that game, he's been playing well. Didn't score his first basket till 55 seconds were left in that game. So they definitely took him out of it. Well, that's going to do it from here in Tampa. We'll be back with you tomorrow night or Friday night, whatever it is. What is today? It's Friday. It's tonight. We'll
Friday
be back
morning,
with you tonight. Yeah. And tell you about the Florida-Auburn game as well as what's going on in the SEC tournament. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, this is Pat Dooley, Kevin Brockway saying so long from the Sunshine State.